Hi everyone, Dr. Emmy from Pain Free and Fit and Posture Size. Today we're going to be presenting part one of our early morning warm-up protocol for degenerative disc disease of the lower back. This is a great way when you first get out of bed so you don't start hurting your back and you get yourself primed in terms of your lower back movement, your hip motions, to get the right type of flexibility, the right type of neurological coordination in your lower back and your hips so you can go through the day with a lot less problems with your degenerative discs. Hope you enjoy. So a lot of degenerative, herniated, and bulging disc pain happens first thing in the morning when you first start to move. It doesn't matter if you're getting out of bed, trying to sit down and have a cup of coffee or check the news, go on the computer, or if you're like me, first thing in the morning you get down to the gym for your workout. We need to have a proper warm-up for our degenerative lower backs in order to provide flexibility, in order to provide coordination in terms of hip, low back area, and stability so we don't hurt ourselves, not only first thing in the morning but through the whole day. So this early morning warm-up series is a great way for you to address your lower back every day for the rest of your life to prevent those degenerative disc aggravations in gym and out of gym. In part one today, we're going to be talking about lower back mobilization first thing in the morning. And what I mean by that is when you first wake up after you've been sleeping for a while, your disc is at its greatest risk of injury if it's degenerative, herniated, or bulging. Because when we're recumbent, sleeping all night, the disc imbibes water. It invites water in. So it's more loaded. It has more pressure on the inside of it. And if we do the wrong thing with our backs, that pressurized inside aspect of the disc is going to be much more likely to give us pain and problems. So the first thing we need to do is we need to bring the spine through a pain-free range of motion. And we're going to use that over a couple different planes of motion. Number one, we're going to get the spine and the low back, the discs and the joints, to get used to arching and flattening the arch. And the way we're going to do that is with the pelvic motion. Once you get out of bed and stand up, put your feet straight so that you have a good posture with your hip joints. If you naturally have one leg that turns out more than another, make sure you get the hip straight. If one leg is out, it's going to have a tendency to hip hike that side, cause the hip to be higher, tighten muscles on one side, weaken the glute. It's going to work against you when we're trying to prime our whole bodies, both hip and low back area, for the day. So make sure you have nice, straight feet. If you don't know what your posture is, go to the Pain Free and Fit or Posture Size website. Check out what your posture is. We have a free body analysis. Learn how to position yourself, correct your postures, because this mobilization exercise for the low back is based on having a globally sound, square structure. If your body structure is off and likes to lean to one side, you have a tendency to have a knee problem or a hip problem where you're going to have an asymmetry running through your low back. You want to learn how to correct that and keep yourself symmetrical before you do this or any other mobilization or strengthening exercise. So with that said, I have a square body structure, and I'm going to slowly tilt my tailbone upwards and drop my pubic bone. That's going to create a little arch in my lower back. I'm only going to go up far enough to feel a slight stretch or a slight movement, maybe not even a stretch, but the key is it has to be pain-free. After 2 seconds of holding, I'm going to go back the other way. I'm going to tuck my tailbone under, flattening the arch of my back as my pubic bone comes up. I may feel some abdominal tension when I do that. I'm only going to go as far as it takes for me to feel a little pull in my lower back or even a little less than a little pull. Sometimes this motion can be as little as 1 millimeter in each way. At most, you're going to want to move it 1 inch in each direction. Moving at a pain-free range of motion, you're going to go back and forth holding each position for about 2 seconds, anywhere from 6 to 12 to 15 repetitions. Then we're going to have a side-to-side mobilization. We're going to bend our knees because that's going to make side bending a lot easier, and we're going to swing one hip slightly down or lower than another. That's going to create a sideways bend in your lower back. It's going to create a convexity to one side, a concavity to the other. Again, use a slight 1 millimeter up to 1 inch motion. Hold it for 2 seconds and then go back the other way. Keep the knees bent because it's very hard to do if the knees are locked out. Finally, we're going to use a little twisting stretch from side to side. Here again, you can bend the knees, rotate one hip slightly more forward than another as your torso or rib cage stays square. You don't want to have your whole body twist. You want this twist to happen in the lower back. So your mid-back needs to stay square or straight ahead as you twist your pelvis. Again, knees bent. 2 seconds each direction, back and forth. That's going to create 3 basic planes of motion, front to back, side to side, and twisting, which is going to take all those disc fibers, the facet joints, all the soft tissues, the ligaments, the tendons, and get them used to moving in a nice pain-free range of motion way. It's going to help to stimulate some nerves that send motion signals into the spine, which many times will often help your low back to feel better because those motion nerves get into your spinal cord faster and have much more of an effect on your central nervous system than the pain nerves, thereby decreasing some of that early morning discomfort that you may have. We can add to it a combined motion, which I like to call a hula motion. Think of a hula hoop. Here we're going to be moving the hips and the lower back together. And you're going to start with a nice slow circle one way and a nice slow circle the other. Again, you don't want a big motion. The idea is you want very tiny motions going across the disc and the joints, nice and slowly and controlled. Again, 6 to 15 repetitions. We can take that front to back like a bicycle tire motion as it's spinning. So now I'm bending my knees and going back and forth. I can also do a diagonal back and forth hula, vertical hula, and diagonal the other way. I can also throw a little figure 8 motion in. This is as I'm holding my torso, you notice my rib cage isn't moving. It's all hips and lower back that are doing this motion. It's creating all kinds of various motions within pain-free ranges of motion that are helping to loosen joints, get disc fibers, muscle fibers, ligament fibers to stretch, muscle fibers to contract. We're stimulating nerves. We're increasing the local circulation in the soft tissues. That's phase 1 of what we're going to be doing as our early morning warm-up. How long does it take you? Maybe a minute at most, maybe 2 minutes at most. Next time we get together, we're going to go over phase 2, which is learning how to start mobilizing and activating your hip muscles, your hip joint. And then phase 3 we'll talk about in the subsequent video on how to integrate spinal stability with hip motion so you're ready to move, lift, and do your workouts and the rest of your daily activities without hurting yourself. If you like this video on early morning mobilizations and activation to prevent pain in your degenerative discs, feel free to subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot of great videos out there for degenerative discs. If you're looking for a great program to learn how to self-analyze your mechanics, all your movement tendencies, your asymmetries in your muscles, stabilize your muscle problems, and how to learn the correct coordination and stability patterns for your lower back, how to plug that into not only warm-up, but stretching, coordination, and strengthening exercises, and how to systematically build that into a good fitness program so you don't hurt your lower back, but stay in great shape. Check out the Fast Track program for degenerative disc disease at the painfreeandfit.com website. Questions or comments, write in. I'll do my best to answer them. Give me a thumbs up if you'd like to help me share this valuable information with others. And I hope this series on early morning warm-ups for degenerative disc disease helps you with your chronic low back problems.